What's up, everybody? Back to back days in a row. We were feeling the FOMO last night with the Art Basel stuff, and that Rafik exhibit was so incredible. But today, Mike and I thought, you know what, we have to go live again with the big pack drop coming. These are the types of projects that we always somehow convince ourselves to not be big participants in, because you think like kind of going back to how we were idiots with Rafik, not trusting the vibe and not trusting Rafik's process that, hey, burns are coming. And so, we with the cube, a $500 cube is worth like 40 grand now. The poets and pages are fluctuating all over the place. Like, it's insane. And today we have Merge, which is a crazy additional project. How are you, Mike?
Doing good. Been trying to wrap my head around the mysteries of back today. So let me just give a little bit of backstory on where I'm at, so people know. So I always like Rob. Rob has a couple packs, and I always like his packs. And so the fungible drop came around, and I really wanted to participate because I was like, I really want to have a pack. That's like a blue chip that I don't have, so I want to get one. So they did the first day thing, and it was super way overcomplicated. And I was like, this is so much gamification. I don't know whether to like it or to hate it. And it was right around the peak, like it was March or April or something, like right at their first peak this year. And so I was like, this is just going to be insane. There's going to be so many purchases, so much dilution. But I was like, I'm no matter what, I'm going to get one. So I was like, okay, let me calculate out what I want to get cube wise. So I was like, I'm going to pick up 4 cubes because I felt like a single cube would be the most valuable thing on a per cube basis. And 4 cubes would have been $2,000 because they were $500 a piece. But it was a 3-day thing. So I was like, well, it does kind of make sense to wait and see how many people buy the cubes on the first day just to see how much dilution there is, and maybe I'll just buy one. So for me, it was the difference between spending $500 to get one or spending $2,000 to get 4. So I was just thinking about like, okay, what should I do? So I sat on it the first day. I was gonna get the 4, but then I was like, nah, I'll just wait till
And
tomorrow
you
to buy it.
convinced me to not buy it either.
Probably. I can't I can't dispute that. So day 2 comes and they jack the price up to $1,000. And so then I'm like, well, I'm not going to spend $4,000 on this. That's crazy. Then I was like, well, now I don't even want to spend $1,000 on one because now I could have just done it $500 yesterday. So then I was just had the bad taste in my mouth, and I was like, what are they going to double it again? I thought they were going to be on a doubling, but then day 3 they just raised it to 1,500. Well, moral of that story: cubes are worth $40,000, so it would have been smart to buy just as much money as I could have pumped into it as possible, and then it would have all been good at the end. But then again, you can't like look back on stuff like that and think like you just can't let stuff like that beat you down. But yeah, so that happened the last time. Poets and Pages came out, and I was like, this is more of an art project. It didn't feel as much like a intricate pack thing. So I passed on
But
Poets.
then there was also crazy supply with pages and
Yes,
poets.
that's
That's
true.
what kind of, because I bought some on the secondary at like point six, and then like I just, for me, and this is one of those things that like I think we with the NFT culture team get wrong more than we get right, is like we try to force supply into the conversation. Way too much, right? And we contradict ourselves and talk about like the long term thing. If we're still so early and there's going to be so many new entrants over the next couple of years, why are we so hung up on supply? And Pack is one of those people that's proving that like you can, um, go and do something fresh and unique. You're muted.
My bad. Yeah, Pac, he's a trailblazer, so his stuff is always going to be its own thing, which is why he's a blue chip. Um, but yeah, this this all I know is this drop feels to me more like cubes. Like he's gone back to the cubes. It's like a super highly gamified system. It's got some twists built into it right off the get go, right off the bat. And it's on the one hand, it seems like a money grab, but then on the other hand, Pack has a proven track record of having stuff be worth it, at least for smaller investors, smaller participants. So, okay, so Kevin asked the question: should we just jump into some theory crafting?
Yeah, let's talk theory.
Okay, so Kevin asked the
And
question.
once again, we could be wrong, and this is all
Yeah.
going to unfold over the next few days. So like, we get a lot of people like that call us bozos. Like someone called me a bozo today because like I called the Wizards and Dragons like pixel art, and like yeah, it's 100% on chain and it's pixels. Like it's art, it's pixel art. So like
Yep.
yes, it's a game, but like we could be wrong just as much as we're right. And you and I kind of have a few different thoughts on how we think this game could start playing out. So yeah, go.
Yeah. Oh, and just to finish what you said, not financial advice. Do your own research. Um, so the question is it better to just try to get the biggest mass, or is it better to try to get the most units of individual or just the most tokens? So of course everybody, I mean, people may or may not know this, but you can only have one per wallet. And at the same time, Nifty Gateway doesn't, well, like they don't want you to have multiple Nifty Gateway accounts. So you're really not supposed to have all Nifty Gateway accounts. So basically what that's saying is one per person on the primary sale. Now, of course, people will try to get around that. And if you have a spouse, your spouse can buy it too. So a lot of people could probably get two without really breaking the rules at all. But so is that better, or is it better to just put it all into one account? So in theory, like if you look at cubes, one cube is worth more than 5 single cubes are worth more than 1 5 cube. And the reason why is because the value of people just owning a pack is worth more than the sum of these cubes. Like people just, there's a certain level of value of just being a blue chip owner. Like if you own a single pack piece, that lets you get this $100 discount on these. So that by itself proves that one mass is going to be worth more than 5 mass in one wallet. But that being said, it's going to be limited on how many one masses a single person can accrue. You're really supposed to just accrue one. Now, there's going to be a twist. I mean, I assume there's going to be a twist in this process. We already have been told that every 6 hours the price is going to go up by, somebody said 20, I saw somebody say $25. Um, the cubes went up by $500, which was 100% of the first day price. So I assume that it'll go up somewhere between $25 and $400 every 6 hours.
It says right here, price will increase $25 every 6
Oh,
hours.
excellent. Okay, so that's a hard detail. Great. Okay, so price is going to increase, but the detail here is they're actually announcing that right now, which means it's not a twist. So that means there still has to be some kind of twist between today and tomorrow, or at least by today and right after the end of the sale. And one of those twists could be that if your wallet doesn't already contain mass, that you won't be able to get mass in that wallet. If you have 0 mass, then you might not be able to get a piece. And so the reason why I think that might be a theory is if you scroll down a little bit, it says, or maybe up, sorry. Keep going. Right there. Um, well, I'll have to find it. That wasn't it either. Somewhere on the page, basically, there's a quote that says, "The more mass you have, the more mass you can merge." Um, that sort of implies that if you have you can only merge as much mass as you own. So like if you have one mass, you can only merge one mass. So you have to go 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8. So you have to increase exponentially.
But like, what if you have like 17?
Then you could merge 17 and you could,
Do you think that's accurate?
I do think it's accurate. And
And
there's another,
could you in the same wallet have 17, 3, and 4?
no, it's, so scroll down somewhere on this page, there's that math equation. It says M100. Okay, right there. I actually see two details with this math equation, not one detail. So the obvious detail is that if you have a if you already have the mass token in your account and it has 100 mass, and you go on OpenSea and you buy a token that has 20 mass, you're not going to have two tokens in your account afterwards. You're going to have one single token in your account, and it's going to
Right.
have 120 mass. Now, the really sneaky thing that they did here, which further backs me up, is the fact that they listed the larger number first. So if you assume that the larger number, the first number is the one that you have, and the second number is the one you're acquiring, what they're showing you is that if you have a larger number, you can acquire a smaller number. They are not explicitly ruling out the idea that if you have a smaller number, you cannot
Right, but
acquire a
that's what I was
larger
saying.
number.
It's like if you have an M, like let's say you have M17, you could acquire an M5.
You could, yes.
It doesn't
Yeah.
have to match.
No, it doesn't have to match.
But
It
if I
just
have an
has to,
M5, I couldn't acquire an M20, is your hypothesis.
yes.
Is there anything other than this equation that makes you think that's true?
Yes, the statement on the page where it says the more mass you have, the more you can merge, which it's somewhere on this page. Hold on, let me pull it up on mine so I can point you right at it.
Yeah, and the other thing to be
Oh yeah,
revealed.
it's right
So,
there.
oh,
Okay, so the third sentence of that first paragraph, the more mass you accumulate. Oh no, that's not it. Sorry, we'll have to find it.
so Colin is asking, like, what does mass give us utility wise? Like, do we even want to talk about Ash right now?
I think it's worth pointing out the fact that they've said that Ash will be granted the amount of Ash you can get will be announced on Christmas Day. So that definitely means that you're going to be able to get Ash from it. How much Ash you'll be able to get is obviously TBD, and we're not going to know for 3 weeks. But you would assume if it's Christmas Day that it's going to be enough to offset. Surely it'll be enough to offset a large portion of your purchase today. I wonder if they changed this now.
I've just been trying to talk and I'm muted myself. I do think they have changed some of the language. And have you heard of Merge DAO yet? It's an
I
interesting
haven't.
concept.
No.
So basically, like Merge DAO wants to like create a DAO for this project to see if they
Hmm.
can accumulate as much as possible.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, that'd be great for all of us holders. I mean, all the people who buy and are able, I mean, well, once you sell it, you can only sell. So the interesting thing is if you just buy the token, you're in the game or you're out of the game. Like if you sell, you're out of the game. You can't buy two. Often times what we do with Nifty projects is you buy three and then you try to sell two or you try to free roll, right? This is like the anti free roll project. If you sell your mass, you're out.
Can you transfer? So like, check this out, right? Like, so, and I think like there's some weird things here, right? So like, this is what's really interesting is hold on, where is it? Because I was trying to think like how could I game the system, and there's one sentence in here that messes it all up. Oh, here it is. All mass tokens will be minted after the sale period, right?
Yes.
What that means, so my thought was like it's a 48-hour sale. I buy 3, and then I send two to two different MetaMask wallets, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't.
Nope. You only get one entry per Nifty Gateway account.
Yeah, and like hypothetically in real like in normal NFT land, like if I buy and Nifty Gateway is a little bit different because you buy it and then it mints at a later period for a lot of the NFTs, especially for their projects. In fact, all of them they mint after the sale concludes. So when you think about like the complexity here, like my game theory was like, okay, I want a bunch of single ones,
Mm-hmm.
and so like, okay, I buy three and then 40-hour period, then I transfer them to a bunch of different wallets, and now I can't do that.
No.
And additionally, with know your customer, it makes it a lot harder for a lot of people to spin up a lot of different accounts in any meaningful way as well. So
Yep.
my based on that one sentence that all tokens will be minted after the sale period. So if I buy three with this Nifty Gateway account, it's at the end. It's not even going to mint a one. It's not going to mint three and merge them. It's going to give me the three.
Yep. Oh, so scroll up down to the bottom. I found that line. So keep going. Stop. Go to the about the drop. So it says merge mass. The more mass you have, the more you can merge. So basically saying the more mass you have, the more you can merge basically implies that if you don't have enough mass, you can't merge something. So it's two statements here. The math equation itself, the A plus B equals C, where it implies A, you're A, and A must be greater than B. And then this statement here also
Does merging ever conclude?
it
So
would
like,
include until when there's one single holder left. Here's the thing. This is a really interesting thing about, okay, let's imagine that my rule system is true. Only one per account. If you try to buy something and you have less mass than that thing has, it fails the transaction. That means that if I have zero mass and I try to buy one mass, it's going to fail. Okay, if that ends up being true, and also I can't merge something that's bigger than me, what that means is that eventually every mass at the bottom end will become a one of one that has to be acquired for people to grow. So the first thing that's going to happen is everybody's going to hoover up the ones because they want to grow cheaply. Then they're going to hoover up the twos, and then they're going to hoover up the threes. And eventually you'll be sitting on 17, and every single thing above you is bigger than you, which means you can't grow, which means you're forever a 17. The only thing you can do is sell and be acquired.
yeah, I mean it's interesting because like the economics of this is really crazy. Like when you think about the game theory and everything that's going into it. Sass said on the Twitter, because we are sharing this on Twitter now as well. If he asked if we're going to be buying, and so I'm curious, like, what's your take? You bought a poet to get
Mm-hmm.
in on this because,
Yeah.
like, here's the thing, like, okay, what are you buying the poet to get $100 discount and load up and then sell the poet?
No, I'm going to hold on to the poet. I wouldn't have bought the poet if I wasn't going to hold it. I just wanted to buy the poet because I actually think it's a really interesting project that's underappreciated because of how spammed it was and how a lot of people who did it really appreciate Pack got into it. So I actually think the poets are kind of cool. I mean, basically he generated, a huge amount of AI faces. And it's really interesting thing to do is to go through a lot of faces and just right click and say search Google for this image and see what comes up. And
Well, there's even
occasionally,
fake image makers, right? Like, there's like not a real person.
yeah, I mean that's what he did on a large scale.
But like like I don't want to diminish that project because like it's a really dope project, but it's also like just coming from like a technical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you go to thispersondoesnotexist.com, like and just keep hitting refresh, like it's an AI model that just keeps generating new faces. And like if you Google image search it, none of these faces are real. Like this is an AI algorithm that has gone in and created all of these randomly on the fly faces. And so like what he did is similar to that. And
That's
then
true.
you throw in some filters on, and you talk about like the training model and everything else. It's really interesting to just see kind of what, what goes into that type of thing. And I've seen a lot of those models now. Like it's brilliant, like what he did, but it's not impossible to replicate, right?
Oh, that's true.
I
But
think the Cube project was more interesting from a technical achievement than the Poet project.
okay, so the other piece, so the two other pieces of why I picked up the Poet is because I thought it was low risk. So he still hasn't mentioned what the twist to that project is. So like we're in phase 3 right now, and there's going to be a phase 4, which is pack. It's just says on the Poets page, it's a pack project, so there's always a twist. So I'm curious to see what the twist is with Poets. So I would rather hold one when that happens. And then the other reason is eventually, after 365 days after launch, they'll be convertible to Ash at the high tier. And so this is obviously do your own research, but people are speculating that they'll be worth 300 to 600 Ash on day 365. So if you assume Ash is worth it about what it's worth today at 40 Ash or $40 per Ash, then that alone is easily worth 2 to 3x how much the Poet costs today. So it's, to me, it's kind of a safe bet. Like worst case scenario, you have a pack, so you have a blue chip, and then like middle case scenario is the twist is awesome, and then best case scenario is it's worth 300 Ash, and Ash is worth 100 per Ash. So there's, I think, a lot of compelling reasons just to buy a Poet. Now, when you factor in that it pays for itself if you buy 4 ETH worth of mass, then it's the cost is covered. I don't know if I don't think I'm going to go that far. I'm probably almost certainly not going to go that far. I figure I might get my Poet for 50% off, basically.
Yeah, no, I agree. Is Pack Ezra Miller?
Is he? Oh, that's that long ago rumor, isn't
Well,
it?
not well, no, because at Nifty NYC, Ezra Miller had the blue line and the no mouth and came out. Like, wouldn't it be like the greatest thing ever if that Ezra Miller is just a awesome, brilliant artist, but also if Ezra Miller actually is Pack, because everyone says that Pack hired Ezra Miller as performance art. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
Um, I honestly think it would be worse to know who Pac was as a person. It's kind of like it's not good to know who Batman is.
You just compared Pack to Batman.
Yes. Well, he is the Batman of the Nifty space, right? He's just an idea. I think the mystique creates a lot of his value. I think if you know who the person is, then you'll start attributing too much of their identifiable style to what they're doing.
One of the things that's really interesting about Pack and Xcopy and um, like a lot of these anonymous or pseudo-anonymous people is like right now, like a new anonymous or pseudo-anonymous person couldn't enter the space, or it'd be very hard to. Like they'd have
Mm-hmm.
to work very hard over a long period of time to build the social proof to be able to do it. And so, like when you think about the anonymous or pseudo-anonymous actors that we have in the NFT space, it's incredibly interesting. And like when you think about the performance art piece, um, we talked yesterday for a while about Wolf Game and like the Andy Kaufman piece of the performance art that could be built into the contract. Like that plays here too with Pack. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's incredibly interesting to think about.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as far as the social proof goes, I think Pac is like the definition of social proof. Like Pac got Beeple into Nifties, so I think definitely whatever street cred needs to be earned to be allowed to be like pseudo anonymous packets earn that. So I think, yeah, it's definitely. I don't know if we'll ever find out. I mean, or at least pack will ever go public. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know
The
what that would do
idea.
to the value.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that it is a team, right? When we think about kind of the team that did help
Mm-hmm.
pack with the Lost Poets and Manifold, and you think about some of that, like is it one person with a lot of ideas and then hiring a team to execute it, or is it a team executing a bunch of ideas and a team that helps execute it?
That's true.
It's
I
really
honestly think
interesting.
you can be stronger as a team than as an individual.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
obviously the stuff that he's doing is too complex for one person to be doing it anyway. Like Lost Poet, there's no way
Well,
Pack
did
is
you
an
import
artist.
your poet into Nifty Gateway?
Yeah.
All right, so in 1 minute, you're going to buy some stuff live for us.
Oh, is it 5 p.m.? Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, you're going to have to share your screen.
Okay, hold on.
F it, we'll do it live.
Okay, we'll see if their site can handle the
traffic. I have
yeah.
an idea.
What?
After you buy your allotment, transfer me your poet and give me the discount and see if it
Will that
works.
work? Oh
I don't
shoot.
know.
Ah.
Let's try it.
Ah.
Let's try it.
Okay, let's see. You really want to try it? What if I get screwed out of like $2,000 because of that?
What would they? They'd have to refund you.
All right.
You'd just be screwed out of lifetime gains.
Oh, I don't know. You want to do that on stream? That's too risky.
No, don't do it on stream.
Okay.
But you buy yours on stream, send it to me, and I buy mine
Okay.
off stream. I'm
Hey,
sure
one.
they I don't know. It's a really interesting theory. It would be educational for the community to see if they thought about that or not.
I don't want to put that. Let me see. So for people, let me just show this spreadsheet.
Enhance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's pretty small. People who are trying to decide how much to buy, someone's done a spreadsheet. Be really cognizant of the fact that these numbers are based on you having a pack to use to get the discount. So $299 instead of 400. But basically, the most cost-efficient way to get mass um, without spending too much is to get 10, and that'll give you 11 total mass. You really start to get a bigger gains when you come down here at the 18, 19%, 20% range. Yeah, so I think, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's really interesting. Like if you're not gonna buy more, like you get the same amount of gains. I think if you bought 17 to like 20 something, like so, like there's those gaps where it's like there's the maximum value that you gain.
Yeah, and so one thing to realize is like the bonus is kind of continuous, but you only get the extra one if if it can round it down to a whole number.
Well, what's interesting too is like if a bunch of has he built into the algorithm a bunch of stuff to say like if everyone goes to like the next bonus level, like let's say you get to 17 in between 17 and 23, like does he reward people that got 20 or 18 and somehow there's already 80,000 sold. All right,
Oh,
bye.
yeah.
Bye.
Okay.
80,000 sold.
What do you think? How much should I get?
I don't know. This is you. This isn't NFT culture.
I know. I don't know.
I
What about this level? Seems pretty good. I feel like 33 is a fun number.
Dang, you're gonna get 33?
I don't know. Should I get 28?
Dude, I don't know. I'm gonna get like 4. Credit card declined.
That'll be awesome. Oh shoot. I don't want to put in my CVV
It's
code. Okay.
it's fine.
Okay.
We'll take you off. You buy it. We'll pull up the sale if
Okay.
it's successful.
All right. Let's see.
And then he transferred me that poet.
You really think that'll work?
Yes. No, I don't know. Like, but I want to find out. All right, if you're watching, we got a bunch of people watching on Twitter. We got a bunch of people, and we started a podcast. So like, find us on Spotify. We'll be on Apple soon. But in the meantime, if you're buying, throw it in the comments. Let us know what you're buying.
Okay, throw it up. Throw me up.
Yeah. All right, throw me that poet.
All right, here. Take me off.
All right. See if it works.
Well, it's not like they would run my card for more.
Oh, Paul bought 62. Paul, hell yeah. This feels like the beep will
What's your?
drop all over
Are you
again.
just Nifty Culture?
Yeah, I threw it in the private chat.
Okay.
It might actually have been timestamped if you own it. That's what they should have done. We'll see, though. We'll see how sophisticated their code is.
I
That's
don't know.
crazy,
Let's not do it.
bro. You're gonna. I could save like hundreds of dollars. All right.
What are we up to?
In terms of
Total purchased.
wow, merged DAO got 130 ETH worth.
130 ETH.
There's 110,000 already sold. Kevin, the screen killer, got 2. I would have got more, but I have to pay retail. $112,000. What's the quick math on that? Times 300?
That's just an insane number.
I mean, is it really?
130 ETH worth?
Oh, for the DAO?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It's not working.
So Pack has already made $35 million.
Jeez. Is that just multiplied by 299?
Yeah, basically.
Oh man. That is crazy.
That is insane. And when you think about what's 130 ETH, what's ETH at right now?
4,000.
Is it still just 4?
Oh, 4,600, I think.
4,600?
Yeah.
45. Yeah, so like 130 times 4,600. Oh, that's like so that's like 600 grand versus like $35 million.
Oh, that's all. Oh, yeah. I guess that is all.
Did I do my math wrong? That doesn't feel right. 300 times 118,000 is $35 million. Yeah, math works.
Jeez. So he's beat people for. He's definitely beaten people on revenue. Then I think he beat probably Clone X.
Well, it's interesting to think about like, oh, wait a second.
This is a
So
public sale. If somebody was asking.
we're into public sale now?
Um. Yeah, this is a public sale, right? Isn't it?
No, it's still private. You have to have the poet for 30 more minutes.
Oh, okay. So I got. So
Yeah,
this is
so
just a private sale for 120.
yeah, you have to have a poet. Send me a poet.
Oh my
Send me a
god,
poet. Send me a poet.
that's
Save me.
unbelievable.
You will save me $1,000 if it works. Send me a poet.
Uh, just get Rob to send you one of his packs.
Rob's on a yacht.
Oh my god, I can't believe that's just private sale numbers.
Kevin the Screen Killer has offered to send me a poet. My friend of 21 years refuses.
No. Wait.
What are you looking at?
I was just looking at a not logged in browser. So how come this unlogged in browser is showing $2.99 each? What does
Because
your browser say?
the price right now is $2.99. Like if I click
Did you click
confirm,
buy?
if I click confirm purchase, it says I do not meet the criteria to purchase it. And so then if you go back, it's the price. It's still private sale.
Oh, I see.
At 6:30 in 21 minutes, the price goes from 300 to 400.
Okay, so you need. I see.
Now the experiment is: did they timestamp it? Thanks, Kevin. That's awesome. He said it's time for new friends.
Yeah, but I have a history that I don't want to get into.
I know.
So
Anthony, you're right. I'm not pressuring him to gift me the poet. I was going to give it back to him. It's fine.
no, I trust Malachi 100%. For the record, I trust him 100%, and it wasn't about that.
The issue is, do we get a lifetime ban from Nifty Gateway and
Yes,
Pack?
I have.
It's not trust.
I have too much to risk on my Nifty Gateway account.
It's fine. I should have been more thoughtful and kept my poet or bought another poet ahead of time.
It's all good.
But you could also argue that we are, yeah. So Fabs, public sales 20 minutes, but the price jumps from 300 to 400 per, which I don't think it's going to slow it down. 133,000.
It won't.
Here's the other thing is like, did everyone do what you did? That everyone who wants to be in the pack drop, did they make sure that they had a pack already, right? Or
I think since
do,
poets count, surely anybody who has forethought is going to go just because it pays for itself at 4 ETH. So anybody making a 4 ETH or larger purchase should have done that.
yeah, I mean, that's absolutely correct. What do we think the floor value of one might be? Like 1,000. Well, here's the thing. This is why we talk ourselves out of pack. It's like, okay, like there were like what 60,000 pages, and we were like, oh wow, that's too many. There's too much supply. And now we're saying like, oh cool, like there's 137,000. But like let's say realistically, so if we go to Dune Analytics, right? Let's just look at like the number. So there's probably more people that are comfortable with Nifty Gateway than there are with like Dune Analytics. But if we go here and we assume like the sophisticated buyer,
Yeah,
there's roughly
move it over a little bit.
Oh, sorry. There's roughly there's roughly 700,000 um, traders over time, right? So like if we say like okay, so if we do the math and let's say it's 140,000, what do we say? 140,000. I don't need to do the math here, but like let's say like each person that's ever traded bought two, right? What's interesting is like there's a massive number of whales that are buying like huge quantities of this, right? And there's multiple DAOs, there's everything else. So when you think about that perspective, it's like there's not going to be 140,000 NFTs. There's going to be, is it 10,000 people, right? Like is what's in, right? What's average? What's the median? Like
Yeah.
And so like let's say if the average person today, so it's now it's over 140,000. So let's say the average person that buys right now is 10, then it's like there's 14,000 individual NFTs. So like that's slightly large. It's bigger than Bored Ape Yacht Club, but smaller than um, Atom Bomb Squad, right? So then let's say okay, so like let's say the average person it's $300. So let's say 4,500 divided by 299. You could buy 15, right? So 15 would be, I'm going to spend 1 ETH on a pack piece of
Mm-hmm.
work, and let's up it to 150,000 divided by 15, 10,000, right? So like now all of a sudden, like if everyone's betting 1 ETH on this thing, there's only 15,000 final NFTs. Hey Fabs, this is a shout out to Nest Graphics. It's a custom NFT, 1 of 100. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece.
Hey, so one thing I want people to be just aware of: people who are making smaller purchases and asking like, is the $400 purchase a safe purchase? Just let me throw this out there so that people are aware of the risk here. If what I was saying, the hypothetical, turns out to be true, where you can only buy mass that's less mass than your wallet has, and that means that if you have zero mass, you can't acquire mass, then what that means is that the market for your pack piece is not the 700,000 OpenSea wallets. It's the, what did you say, 100-ish thousand? Or so you're muted.
No, like so that is a very dangerous point.
Yeah.
And that's a really important point, right? Like it could be built into the contract. So Omnibus could have it built in to say like, okay, if you own zero, they won't sell you any, right? So it stays
Mm-hmm.
on the Nifty Gateway platform. But the contract likely also has built into the contract to say that like if wallet does, it's just like claiming a kennel dog, like you can't buy this NFT if you don't have the NFT, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what this means is that the number of people that can even buy your NFT is a very, very small
It's
number. But I'm
smaller.
curious about transferring. I'm curious about a lot of different things.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like that's incredibly complex. And like, is that possible to implement on blockchain?
it is. Yes. You just put a failure or require statement in the transfer function, and it'll reject it and roll it back. It's a little shitty because it means that the person will lose the gas fees to check for that check. So, yeah, it's going to try to do it and fail. But whatever the case is, if they do put that in there, it's technically feasible. And what that means is your market is 15,000 people instead of 700,000 people. And that means there's potentially less money.
What if you can only sell it to people that hold a pack piece and it goes back to the poets and the pages?
Dude, then I'm telling you, people are sleeping on, not financial advice, people are sleeping on poets. I feel. Hey, you're cutting in and out again.
I keep muting myself because
Oh,
there's
okay.
background noise. Martin says unlikely.
Yeah, we'll
But
see.
that makes sense. It's probably true, right? Because I think if you have zero, you're not going to be able to do it. So, like, his point is that, you know, Pack wants mass adoption, but it's like he can do two things, right? He can do drops for that are incredibly deflationary and also do drops that are inflationary. It's like he swings the pendulum back and forth so that
Mm-hmm.
he's able to subvert whatever everyone thinks his next
Yep.
drop is going to be, right? There's going to be another, there's, I'm sure like he'll do another piece that's like a 1 of 10 or something like incredibly unique.
Yeah. I just want people to be careful making the decision. Like, I wouldn't put money in that you can't afford to sit on for a long time or potentially lose.
But that's our policy with everything, right? Like NFTs, like 99.99999% of NFTs are going to go to zero. In fact, 100% of NFTs could hypothetically go to zero. We don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
our most of the NFTs that we hold are bags, and some of them we hope are not. And so, like, once again, does the art tell a story? Do you trust the artist? Does the art resonate with you? Um, and would you buy it if it was going to go to zero? That's it.
Mm-hmm. This one, I mean, the artistic value of this one is, that's the weird thing about pack stuff, which is Lost Poets was a deviation. Like Lost Poets, you could say even if it wasn't worth anything, it's still kind of cool. Like something like Merge or the Fungible, like if the value of Nifties go to zero, then they're really not that cool to hang on to. Just by artistic value. Like the weird thing about Pack is his pieces are living works, and so they take a lot more creativity and thought to develop. But just the token itself is just inherently not as valuable as experiencing the work. That being said, one thing we haven't talked about is how there's going to be hidden classes and attributes on these masses. So there could potentially be a lottery ticket attached to them as well. So from that perspective, maybe just getting, a couple of $400 ones is still worth it.
Can I shill for a second?
Go for it.
So, like, everyone who has an NFT culture token has 12 hours left to get into the digital animals whitelist. So, if you own a culture token and you go into our private Discord, you actually get access to it. We also have another whitelist that's available as well. And so, there's just a lot of value right now to be had in that. And so, it's one of those things to just think about. Let's
Nice.
keep going.
Yeah. Just let me just jump on your statement. So, cult token, it is what it is. I love it. I'm always going to try to do what I can to build value for it. But one of the kicks we're currently on is like minting in the public sale is horrible for pretty much every project. I tried to get into the Ape Kid Club yesterday, and it was just a disaster. It sold out in like microsecond, and standard, like you're in the cattle car with everybody else. So one of the things me and Mal are trying to do with the cult token is to just leverage the Nifty Culture brand awareness to get us to be able to get people on the whitelists. So if you care about whitelists, then think about picking up a token. They're really cheap, especially when gas is low. So I don't know. I think it's totally worth it. But we're going to
Yeah, like
try to
right now you can get in for like $200, and it's an awesome community. A bunch of people, very active, a lot of fun. We also have, free. There's a free art mint for people that own the token. Make sure you check the token before you buy it because it might have been claimed. And we have some forging mechanics. We have 4 pieces of art. The floor on the 4 pieces of art right now is 1 ETH that have been claimed. And we have a lot more surprises coming in the future, including some really, really cool stuff. Don't want to make this a commercial. Let's back to Pack.
Yeah, I really just care about getting more people into the community. So that's all I really care about. I hope that the value of the cult token drives people into the community. But I just want to keep building our community because the more people we have in there, the more information we'll have flowing in, and that makes it good for everybody. So anyway, check that out. But yeah, this Pack stuff. So have you? Oh, you're
I
waiting for a
can't. We
token.
got 9 more minutes. I don't know if we have 9 more minutes of content. What are we missing?
Well, there's those secret attributes.
Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. The secret attributes on the. That's what made me think of the NFT cult
Okay,
token, because
gotcha.
like we have secret attributes on our token that we haven't told anyone what is going to happen yet, and people get pissed off about it. Still not going to tell. And by the way, everyone says win Ember. If you mint a free art piece, you get the number of Ember allotted to the number of burns that you've done. And what is Ember going to do in the future? And there's this great song by Augustana called Ash and Ember. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think the attributes on Ember are hopefully a little bit foreshadowing for what it might be useful for. So yeah, I don't want to talk about what it's going to do because that all becomes commitment as soon as I say it. But I'm going to try to make Ember be something cool. That's my commitment to the community, but I don't want to say anything beyond that.
What is Pack doing with the FOMOverse?
Are you talking about the? It's not actually called FOMOverse, right? It's called the
It's literally called.
Dreamverse, or
It's literally called
oh, it is.
FOMOverse. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know because he has that other thing,
The other thing.
the Underverse, or
I mean, that's already made 1,000 ETH, and the floor price is 3. Like, here's the thing: we have no idea what's going on with the FOMOverse. And Guarav, yes, Pio is still a friend. Pio and Nick have the Nifty Alpha, where they do have their daily um, channel where they're talking similar to us, and we're just going in slightly different directions. We're going to be focused a little bit more on like the core components of what we founded NFT Culture on, which was the intersection of art, collectors, marketplaces, and technology. And they're doing great stuff. They're covering a lot of projects. It's called the Nifty Alpha. And so for us, we're going to lean in a lot more into the established artists, the up and coming artists, and doing those types of things. And so Pio may come back on the show from time to time. I go on their channel and spaces from time to time, but just so everyone knows, yeah, absolutely. I think it's a better fit. If you watch the Nifty Alpha, it's really really fun to watch. They've got a lot of energy. Just a different style, and so for us, it just made sense for all of us to kind of say, hey, let's someone called it kissing cousins, and I don't like that very much. But we all get along really well. SAS comes on from time to time as well. In fact, Crypto Raiders hired my cousin, so everyone gets along famously, and we just want to make sure that we're creating the best content and the type of content that we all believe in. And a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So we want to make sure that everyone has a chance to be successful. So I know people have asked from time to time, and it's a good question, and we're glad that we all did find a way to make it work for everybody. Um, and if you guys have any other questions, please just join us in the Discord, and we're happy to go into more detail. You can buy pack on niftygateway.com.
Yes.
Should we fill it with 5 more minutes so that I can buy some?
I do kind of want to see how the rocket ship takes that 164 number. Man, I can't believe.
165.
So one thing I'm a little bit let down is that you can't see the leaderboard yet. So it says during the sale period, you'll be able to follow the total amount of mass, but you not be able to see the actual leaderboard. Oh, geez. So if you're actually trying to get on the top 100, then you just have to throw money at the problem. Geez, you probably have to put 100. You think the 130 ETH will even get them into the top 100? I don't know. This is really one for the record books for sure. With the amount that this one's going to bring in, I'm expecting, pack is still relatively rare. Somebody could probably go on the marketplace and figure out how many poets are on there, but there's really not that much supply outside of poets since so many of the cubes have been burned. I think there's only about 3,000 cubes left. So yeah, I assume most people still haven't bought yet. I feel bad for collectors who are going to try to get onto that leaderboard still. That's an awesome piece.
Did you put sorry. On? Someone wanted to see it, so I thought I'd pull it up. This is the Board Ness 8 Club, and it's a beautiful piece of art. Ness Graphics, in my opinion, is already a blue chip. When you look at the price and the value of it, this is the piece. And what's really interesting, this is one of the things that's really cool about Nifty Gateway is that they were able to. This was one of the first pieces with also Mad Dog Jones customization. This was actually a test, I believe, for them to actually import an OpenSea piece. And so this project kicked off all the other projects that now we see Nifty Gateway doing so much in the community.
Someone asked about Mary Mods. I would guess that it's kind of one of those things where you just kind of have to wait to see what the IP is like. I haven't heard of them release any of the IP. They're supposed to make kind of a TV series out of it.
Or a movie. Yeah, I mean, Mary Mods is a bet for next year. We own, as a team, one Mary Mods. I've thought about buying them. If it gets a little bit more below mint price, I'll probably pick some up. But I also, Tom Bilyeu came on our show and he did talk for a while about that the mods. He said it differently, but the mods universe is going to be existing. So there will be other mods projects. And so when you think about the universe building that he's doing, it's going to be incredibly interesting. My bet is that, and never financial advice, but if you like Tom Bilyeu and you like impact theory and you like Mary mods, if it's below price and you want to hold it for a long time, I think next year they're going to have surprises. Is it toys? Is he said he wants to go after Disney? Is it a
Yep.
feature length film on Amazon Prime or Netflix? The artist behind Mary Mods is incredibly talented and has worked with Disney and Marvel and everything else. So it's one of those things like if you can buy and hold until a year from now when the next thing comes out, like it might be a decent idea. But like if you think that in Christmas in July or around Easter, when the Easter Bunny NFTs come out, the Christmas NFTs are going to be in a winter. Maybe it's one of those things you do.
Hey, let's pull up that buy screen. We got like 5 seconds. I want to see the rocket ship that is open cell.
Purchasing is closed.
Oh, weird.
Bye. Oh, you wanted to
You're
watch it?
It's
Right.
okay.
Well, here I'll just open it in a new tab.
Okay.
Well, how many do I buy? It's $400.
I know. How many do you buy?
Not as many as you, because you.
Okay, so we had about 173,000 go to the cheap price. So surely that was most of the big buyers.
Yeah, I think everyone that like you and I talked about, I think everyone that wanted to get in got in. Man, at $400,
This is so much higher than. Did anybody ever do a calculation on how many cubes sold? Like, if you like multiplied out the pieces.
no, you should buy 13 ETH worth. I don't have 13 ETH swag.
I think it's at 131 ETH worth.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're at 10,000. So that's. Oh man, this is like money printing machine.
All right, I'm gonna do something crazy.
He just made another $4 million right quick.
All right, so I bought a certain amount
Okay.
that I was comfortable with, and then I'm gonna have my wife go and buy some as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my wife buy some shortly too. Definitely, if you have the spouse situation, then that's an easy way to get two without breaking any rules.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. Like M123. That's the question. Is like, do you think 11 mass is going to be more valuable than 7? Because like the generative piece of this as well. It's like, what if like these odd in between numbers are like truly unique pieces of art that people aren't going to want to sell? Like, there's so many different things that go here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so like that's the thing for me. Like it's like this sums it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that every single size is a unique piece.
Well, that's
Just
what I think. I think every single I think that like in being the number of mass is a seed, and the out. So whether it's one
if it's like a
or
fractal algorithm.
1,000, yes, it's a
Oh
fractal.
my god.
And then you think about like the unique, like what I think is going to happen is like there's the natural segmentations where you get the extra one. So if you think about like a bell curve or an
Mm-hmm.
inverse bell curve, like the most common, and that's why he has 3 days to figure it out, is like the most common holdings are going to obviously be like the most common pieces of art. So the most unique
You're
generative.
just pulling this out of your.
No, I'm not. I've been thinking about this all day because like I've
I'm
been doing a
saying
lot
this
of
is
research
genius. If
in
this is
terms of
what he
like the
did, then it's
generative nature. Like what if
yeah.
like what if the
Like if you
bottom
buy
of
a
the bell
prime
curve,
number,
yeah, the most rare number in between each segment is inherently going to have the most unique. Now, is it the most beautiful? That's going to be different. But like, then do you destroy something beautiful as the mass consumes it? And now we're back into a social experiment.
dude, if he thought of that, he truly is the most genius artist in the space.
I think
If
he
it's
had
like
to have.
because if then you pick a prime number, you want to try to buy a prime that's kind of high. The highest prime number you can afford.
No, not even prime number. Like the most, like where
Well,
the
I'm saying
biggest buying are.
prime
Yeah,
numbers usually are odd numbers that humans don't naturally gravitate to, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Those will all have a lot of people.
yeah.
And then they'll have the extra. But you can upgrade by picking, like if you buy a 52 and you see that the art for 54 is the bomb, you can just buy it too.
But what if, because he said like the future iterations of it, like there is going to be some entropy. So like, what if like a blended, an organic 52 looks different than a combined 52?
I don't know. Good question.
Like
Let me
I,
answer. Let me
yeah.
answer Ryan's question real fast. Hey Ryan, it you're not going to get the piece minted until after the sale closes in 3 days. So it'll be a couple days. That's just standard Nifty Gateway operating procedure. So don't worry about um, having the charge on there for a couple days. They'll deliver it when the sale closes.
Yeah, and that's the thing that sucks about like pack drops is like you don't get them like the sale's a 3 day sale. Most
Mm-hmm.
sales are 5 minutes. Most sales are an hour. Most sales are somewhere in between. In this particular instance, and that's what they said. Like everything will be minted after the fact.
Yep. Oh, and then yeah, that's a
These
good
are probably
question.
1155. These have to be right.
Um, maybe the mass number is the token ID. You could do it with 1155.
Are you
It
going to
could
enter
it could
any of
work
these
with
other
both.
Nifty Gateway drawings?
I don't know. Is there anything good?
There's a
I
couple
didn't even.
drawings.
That would be the worst thing to have happen to you as an artist. To have your day be on pack day.
It's pack day.
Man,
It's Rex Manning Day. If anyone knows, if anyone can tell me Rex Manning Day right now and find a way to DM me and they don't own a Nifty Cult token, I will send them if it's in the next 5 minutes.
nice.
I'm being like pack gamification.
Sweet.
Hey
Yeah, I
man, I
mean,
think. Oh, go on.
yeah, I feel bad for these other artists. It's just a bad day for them to have to drop.
All right, so the sale closes on December 4th at 6:30 p.m. and it goes up periodically.
How? Okay, let's do one last thing. How many do you think are going to sell?
Man,
We're
I
at
don't know.
200K and we still have 2.5 days, 2 3/4 days.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is, I don't know. Like
What
five
if it
hundred
goes to
thousand.
500? What if it goes to 500,000? How much is that?
Well, it would be
Because they only
um,
sold 173 at the cheap price. That
yeah.
means 300 at least would be at the high price. So you could pretty much assume like an average of like 380.
Well, here's the other thing is like, what does he share throughout the
Dude,
process?
they might break 200 million on this. They're definitely going to break 100 million. Can you imagine 200 million?
But the question is like, I mean, it is mind breaking, but like the real question is like, what value comes of this? Like, and what does Pack drop over the next 2 days? That what leaks happen to
Mm-hmm.
make this thing
Well,
continue
there's going to be
momentum?
something. I think if he comes out and he says, uh, if you don't, I think if they just make the simple point of If a wallet doesn't have anything in it, they can't participate in the future. That's going to pull in a swarm.
I mean, Pac
I
is
don't
going to
know.
buy a hockey team, right?
He may as well. He could buy whatever he wants, but I just can't.
Pac Airlines.
This is the largest drop ever already, isn't it? Has there ever been a drop that's done? I mean, 65 million. I guess we're not to the largest ever because we might still be under 100 million.
I don't know, man.
Okay. So
Yeah,
odds
it's
of it
like
hitting.
we're still below Beeple,
Oh, the 69 million. You're right. We are still below that.
but we're 39 minutes in.
Yeah.
The issue is how, like, once again, how do you either get your value back out of it? Like, how does this continue to generate more value? And that goes back to the concerns that everyone has, right?
It's got to be just the simple fact that at the end of the day, at the very end of this system, a individual pack art is worth 10 to 20,000 right now. Well, I guess a lost poet is only worth 4,000. 1 ETH. I don't know, but a cube is worth 7 ETH. It
I
would be
don't know.
hard for these not to be worth 1 to 7 ETH if you waited long enough.
Yeah, I mean that's what it keeps going back to is like what does the final and like there will be a distribution where like you're gonna have to choose what else is interesting about the merge, and then we can wrap with this. We've been going over an hour, which is crazy. Is that like you don't have the choice to, so if I bought 10, I can't sell 9 and keep 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Exactly.
it's all or nothing.
You're in the game or you're out of the game.
Right. And like so like inherently over time there's going to be like the paper hands where it's like if I choose to exit, it's done, right? Like if for instance my in of cube, if someone makes me an offer I can't refuse, that's fine, but I'm out and I'm never ever going to get the future value from this.
No, because what if, if you, so like, let's say a whole bunch of people buy ones and they decide to exit and they double their money, they get $800 for it. You'll never be able to afford another one because people are going to vacuum cleaner up those ones and all
Hold
that's
on,
going to be left are threes.
I may have said something inaccurate. Like, can you transfer it once? Or is this on the omnibus forever?
That's a good question. How does the omnibus work? Oh, so you may have just cracked oh no, but they could figure that out. He could have coded the omnibus into the transfer function and say if it's the transfer function.
It can only transfer one time? Because not everyone's connected their wallet with their. And what if people have hard wallets and a soft wallet?
Okay, so maybe transfer to an empty wallet is. What happens? So if are they? So they had to have implemented the secondary market behavior inside of Nifty Gateway as well.
That's what I was saying before. Is that like it's either you can't transfer it off Nifty Gateway, which is going to piss people off. Can you transfer once?
Like you can go off the omnibus and then you can never come back. No.
Or like you can only go between omnibus username that bought it and verified wallet one, right? Like you inherently like there's a lot of trickery and shenanigans that could be going on.
I am really curious to see this contract.
Yeah, I mean, Martin keeps telling us like we're going down the wrong path. Like he like this. I think that like this drop in particular because it's called merge. Like I think that.
Well,
I mean,
it's
there
you
could be
solve
something
the
we don't
whole
know about going
you
on.
solve the whole problem if you just let people transfer to zero. like it does feel like, based on what Martin said, based on what you said about transferring off the omnibus, all signs are pointing to my one of my theses is that if you have zero mass, you can't acquire this piece. I think that's false. It introduces, having that be a rule introduces too many problems. Yeah, you can transfer to a hardware wallet. You can't transfer off Nifty Gateway, or you have a weird thing where you can only transfer off once. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that if you don't have if you have zero mass, you can probably buy a piece. So in theory, you could always, people can just go and buy one mass off secondary if they want to.
That makes sense.
That being
I wish
said,
we had said that at the beginning, because what's going to happen is, like, over the next week, a bunch of people that haven't gotten to this point of the video, because we're
an
hour and 10 minutes in, are going to be like, y'all are idiots. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Hopefully people at least. Oh, that sucks. Well, whatever. At least we figured it out eventually. I do still think strongly, though, that there'll be a rule where if you aren't larger than something, you can't acquire it. I think that'll be a twist.
Who knows? It's going to be interesting. Let's do one last pack check. Let's call it a night.
Okay. It's definitely slowed down.
Yeah.
If we're not over 200.
Still 200 and almost 245 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And if there's any twists involved, there might not be twists because it only is going up $25.
Yeah, but like, there has to be a twist, because why would, if he thought that if he thought that, like, demand would increase as cost increased, that like, there has to be a mechanic.
Yeah. Well, but the cost going up could just be to discourage the quantity from going too high.
Then why not just say, hey, I'm going to do one night?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, why are there 3 days?
Or why not have a fixed price for 3 days?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll see. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, as always, it's been fun. I am sad we're not at the yacht party right now.
This is fun too.
Hell yeah. All right, everyone. It's been great. Join us in the Discord. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe on Spotify. And, buckle up. We got a lot planned in 2022. So everyone take care.